What's up, guys? This is Young Shot here, back here today to give you guys another video. This time we're going to be doing it on CP3 and the trade. We're going to be basically grading the deal, and we're going to basically give you all the information and details on this groundbreaking deal. I'm also with my guest Realist.
Yo, what's up, everybody?
And pretty much we're going to break down each and every detail of the CP3 trade. So let's get started. Where were you at, Realist, when you first discovered this trade?
I was in the shower, and I got out my shower and came to my room, and I was getting dressed. My phone started going off. Picked up my phone. I think it was somebody in a group chat that I saw from first. They're like, wow. They're like, you right, because I've been saying for the last 2 weeks I thought CP3 was going to go to Houston. Once they kind of leaked that he wanted, like about 2-3 weeks ago, they leaked that he wanted to go there in 2013, but he decided to stay in LA because they brought Doc on board. But it was something I thought would happen. Didn't know if it would, though. And we're here now, and it happened via trade instead of free agency.
When I first looked at it, pretty much I saw that CP3 was getting traded to the Houston Rockets. I was walking towards school, like I was literally at my campus, literally getting to class, and then all of a sudden my phone started ringing, and I was already on Twitter as it is, and I saw Adrian Wojnarowski posted, and it shocked the shit out of me, because one, I knew the Rockets was in serious contention for CP3, but literally I didn't expect CP3 to literally make up his mind so quickly, or basically since the talks happened, I didn't think the move would have happened so fast or so expectedly like it did today. I didn't expect a trade to happen. I thought CP3 was either going to opt out and then go to Houston, or like just like the scenario today, sign and trade and basically go to the team that he desires for the bird rights, obviously, so they can sign to a max later on. But again, everything just happened so quickly. And then just the amount of people that was giving up just to obtain them. And thinking about CP3 and James Harden playing together, it was kind of crazy to see that trade happen. Now, one thing I wanted to address is that this trade, and we didn't even break down the full details of the trade. The trade mostly is Chris Paul for Lou Will, Sam Dekker, I think Montrezl Harrell, if I'm correct. Who else? Who else was it again? Troy Williams as well, and the 2018 first round pick, and 661. Oh yeah, Patrick Beverley, my fault. 661,000. Hilliard and DeAndre Liggins, right? That's involved in different trades as well to bring in more cap to do the trade, just to get CP3 on the Houston Rockets. How you think about the trade and who you get? Obviously you give the advantage to Houston, but what grade would you give the Los Angeles Clippers?
Actually, I give the advantage to the Clippers.
You give the advantage to the
Yeah, I give the Clippers an A, just because they didn't allow Chris Paul to walk. They actually got something for him. I mean, they got Patrick Beverley, who was first team all defense. They got Lou Will, who was up for 6th man of the year, and they got Sam Dekker, who could potentially be a solid power forward off the bench for the Clippers. They didn't just let Chris Paul walk for free. Obviously, they didn't get the value of Chris Paul, but they got some good pieces to somewhat replace Chris Paul, I would say, I guess. It's not like they got, all like second round picks or something for Chris Paul. They got a couple solid players.
For me, I feel like Chris Paul deal, the Clippers got players that they needed. Like, it's not, again, as you said, it's not in the same value of Chris Paul. But I feel like the Houston Rockets probably could have gave up more towards the Clippers, like probably say Eric Gordon, even though they do value him a little bit too much. I think they value him way too much from Lou Will, who's basically on his final year of his contract for next season, so it's understandable. They got Pat Bev, who's still a solid defender, but is getting up there in age as well. Sam Dekker and Montrezl Harrell should definitely be really good project players for the Clippers. Not only that, as I said, you add Lou Will, who will come in, basically do what he has to do, but also he has a 1 year left on his contract, which you could then still move for possibly a pick to start the rebuilding process, especially if Blake do decide, okay, I'm not going to resign with the Clippers, even though it's a strong indication that he will. And pretty much it makes you move forward with the possible rebuilding process and breaking down of the big three as well. Not only that, you have some non-guaranteed contracts that you can let go and also save up in money. The Clippers can save up to $70 million by DeAndre's contract year and traded if DeAndre Jordan gets traded. And that's just saying if Blake Griffin pretty much walks and goes to another team, they will pretty much have almost over $80 million plus in money to sign free agents. And whether it be with they sign back CP3 or they get 3 superstars, it could happen. Now, I'm not saying the Clippers are a favorable destination now with Chris Paul definitely gone, but it's still a chance that the Clippers can get superstars, especially with the amount of money they have and their location, obviously. So if I had to grade this deal, definitely I feel the Clippers should deserve a B. Obviously Houston's gonna get, like, for me, a B plus. I think it works out both sides. I feel like Houston obviously gets the better player, and obviously it will help their chances, and it could lead into something more. But until then, I only can give them a B plus because they got the player that they wanted. Harden gets the playmaker that he needs, but at the same time, they give up some really good depth and young players that could have been useful if Chris Paul possibly would have walked and probably took less money to join with the Rockets.
I kind of agree with what you're saying. As far as the Rockets, I'm only giving them like a B plus right now. If they get another player, you've been hearing rumors they want to sign Paul George. They want to trade for Paul George or Carmelo Anthony. If they get one of them, that grade goes up high. I think as of right now, this is just a B plus trade, and I think it's just a B plus team. You got 2 good players in the league who are going to get you to the second round at least, and you still have to worry about facing Golden State or San Antonio. At this point, I still don't see a reason why I would pick Houston over San Antonio or Golden State. Now, if they get that third player to go along, a Carmelo Anthony or a Paul George, I think that really guarantees them a spot in the Western Conference Finals over San Antonio. And if they get their chemistry right, I wouldn't be opposed to saying they could beat the Golden State Warriors.
many people feel as though the Rockets could land Paul George in trade, and I feel as though they don't have much pieces to get him. Obviously, with the trade that happened today with Chris Paul letting go of most of their depth alone and most of their young players, the only people that they will have to trade is Ryan Anderson, Trevor Ariza, Eric Gordon, and a few other players that's probably very unmentionable, but like Nene or Capella. But regardless or not, I don't think the Rockets will have enough to interest the Pacers, especially if the Lakers threw young players and picks to acquire Paul George, and they said no. Pretty much, I don't feel like the Houston Rockets will get any traction anywhere trying to get rid of Paul. Basically trying to get Paul George for what they are selling right now. As far as Melo, it still is a very big chance that he can go to Houston. I feel like he can go because literally the Knicks and Melo's been asking for a buyout. If you guys missed that video, please look it up. But pretty much the details is like the Knicks are trying. Melo wants a buyout and the Knicks is resisting the buyout. And the report today is pretty much Melo is still asking for a buyout, and the Knicks still haven't changed their opinion on requesting or resisting the buyout. They want him to be traded. They want him to be gone even after Phil Jackson was fired. So it seems more likely a trade may happen between Houston and New York. And also it seems likely as well that Melo could be bought out if the Knicks do give in. And the Houston Rockets could definitely get Melo and definitely probably push past San Antonio. Now, I don't know about Golden State, but they would make it a little bit tough for San Antonio to get past the second round, maybe into the Western Conference, just whoever they face, I feel. Another factor into the trade, or many people have been thinking of another possible of a super team. Many people from my group saying that Paul Harden, Paul George, and Paul Millsap could play together. If that's a possibility, do you agree on that?
Millsap in Houston? No, I don't think they need to do that. I think they need to go get small forward, Paul George or Carmelo Anthony. If not one of those two. Oh.
Pretty much Chris Paul, James Harden, Paul George, or Carmelo Anthony and Paul Millsap. Do you think that would be a good super team enough to beat a team like Golden State?
Yeah.
Do you feel
100%?
Do you feel like Melo, even though he's declining, do you think he would still be able to guard or defend players such as Clay, or obviously you're not going to guard Durant, that's for damn sure, but players such as Clay or Draymond Green, if anything, if the Big Four is still open?
Yeah.
I can see it happening, but that's what many people from my group were saying. They also say Paul George, but I feel Paul George, basically money-wise, somebody's going to have to take a pay cut. I don't know who it's going to be. If it was instead of Melo, it would be Paul George. It'll be a different situation. It'll be somebody's going to have to take a pay cut, and I don't think any of those four would want that, especially Millsap. Millsap wants the max. He never got max money ever before, so he wants the max contract, and he wants it now. So I understand. Same thing for Paul George too. Now, it's some details about Chris Paul, about him, the reason for his departure for the Clippers before we get off this video. Pretty much, Reels, do you want to explain, or do you want me to explain?
Just a long story short, Chris Paul became very frustrated apparently with the organization, sometime during the season. The New York Knicks offered a trade to the Los Angeles Clippers of Carmelo Anthony and Sasha Vujacic to the Clippers for Paul Pierce, Jamal Crawford, and Austin Rivers. As you know, Doc Rivers is in charge of trades for the Clippers, and he turned that trade down. I guess after that, Chris Paul became not trustworthy of Doc Rivers and the direction he was trying to go with the team, and felt he was favoring his son. Apparently, Austin Rivers was a locker room problem for the team. They didn't get along with him, and Doc did nothing about it, and Chris Paul decided after that he was going to look to move on.
Yeah, pretty much from the report, it seems as though that Doc Rivers was favoring more of his son compared to the other people in the group. It seemed like he was going harder on other people on the team compared to his son, where he took it light and easy. And like you said, that trade that was involved with the Knicks, where it was basically sending Jamal Crawford, Paul Pierce, and Austin, and the Knicks basically giving up Melo and Sasha Vujacic, pretty much declared Paul to basically not be fond of the team anymore. There also was reports about him and Blake Griffin not, playing together. Blake Griffin pretty much wasn't, or there's been reports that he wasn't going to re-sign with the Clippers, or doesn't have a chance to re-sign with the Clippers if Paul is still on the team or during that time. And pretty much if he's off the team, he has most likely a chance to re-sign back with the Clippers. Do you agree with that, since there's no actual report of it, but it's been rumored of it?
It's been rumored. The way I see that situation, I seen, let me see, so I can get the source right, give this guy some credit, because I said something to him about it on Twitter. I think his name is Eric Rosenthal.
Yep.
He's a writer for the Clippers. He's always around the organization. His words were, I'm told that trading Chris Paul may have been the only way Blake Griffin would stay with the Clippers.
And that was you. That and the
yeah, go ahead. I was gonna say my thoughts to that. Now, with reading that, someone who's close to the Clippers organization, for him to tweet that out, to give that information out, I really feel if Blake Griffin re-signs with that organization, I really believe that this rumor was true. And with that being said, I think I would personally lose a little bit of respect for Blake Griffin as a player. Just knowing that Blake Griffin was there, I think, a year or two before Chris Paul came to the team. I'm not 100% sure. No, he was there at least 1 year.
He was there. He was
without him.
He was there when the team. I mean, he pretty much was there when the team drafted him. He was there with DeAndre Jordan already. They pretty much had everything set. It was more of basically trying to attract Chris Paul, which they did. And pretty much from there, they formed Lob City.
But just saying that, I really feel like Chris Paul, to not want to stay because of Chris Paul, when Chris Paul is the guy who rejuvenated the franchise in winning ways. Blake Griffin brung fans because, he could jump out the gym and everybody wanted to see his crazy dunks. But as far as a winning aspect and trying to win, Chris Paul is the one who lifted that organization, and just for him to be selfish and say he doesn't want to play with Chris Paul anymore, I just think I'd lose a little respect for him. I mean, Chris Paul's one of the better point guards in the league. He's probably one of the better point guards to play in the NBA. And to not want to play with a guy like that, I'm just confused. I don't know which more you want.
Well, in this case, all we know is of the fact of the matter is Chris Paul is going to the Houston Rockets, and there's more to come. And there's possibility of another move for the Rockets as they continue to make short, little non-guaranteed trades, especially for the new recent one with Sean Long, and also with the Hawks or Ryan Kelly. Little, prospect names, but that's non-guaranteed. So that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys for tuning in to These Called Journalism. If you guys like the video, please leave a thumbs up. If you like the channel, you like everything, the content, hit that subscribe button. I want to thank Reels for coming along and basically talking about the Chris Paul deal, because I was freaking shocked as hell. Oh yeah, and make sure, guys, to tune in or basically check out rotoden.com, which is pretty much the website I'm writing for, and plenty of other articles that's up there. It's a new website especially for only basketball and sporting content, and you get real fans' perspective on each and every topic and each and every news that happened throughout the NBA, especially during the off season. So I want to thank you guys. This is Young Shot. I'm out. Peace.